host of the Gridiron.
Very interesting. Aaron Rodgers actually reached out and talked to the Giants. Wow, that's a desperate dude right there, I'm going to tell you. Well, of course, obviously, if this was 10 years ago, people are calling him. He's not, or maybe not him, maybe his representatives or whatever, reached out to the Giants. Now, of course, what I was also seeing a lot of, too, was that, now how true this stuff is, who knows, right? But I was seeing a lot of Stafford to the Giants or Stafford to another team, and then Aaron Rodgers being linked to the Rams. You'll figure that one out, right? It just seems like, I don't know. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, he won the Super Bowl after the 2010 season, and ever since then, he's might have been MVP of the league and stuff like that. But even when he does get to the playoffs, he doesn't make deep runs. So, he has a couple special moments here and there and stuff like that in the playoff. But look what we did last year with the Jets. They had supposed to have a good defense, but offensively, he had some weapons. But so I don't know. Let's see. Is this it? Okay. Aaron Rodgers reached out to the New York Giants for potential signing with them. Interesting. Aaron Rodgers likes New York, the New Jersey so much he's open to the idea of signing with the New York Giants. In fact, according to Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, Rodgers reached out to the Giants to gauge their interest in signing him. Rodgers has spent the last 2 seasons with the Jets, is parting ways with the gangrene when the new league year starts, and the Giants are in the market for a veteran quarterback, regardless of what their 2025 NFL draft plans are. Juiciest rumor from the Combine so far, Aaron Rodgers has reached out to the Giants, which, if true, suggests he's not getting much of any interest from contenders like the Steelers, which is that's a possibility. It's unclear if the Giants are interested in the 41-year-old Rodgers, as the team has their sights set on trading for Matthew Stafford, but Rodgers could be a fallback option if the Stafford trade does not work out. Now, also one thing too, right? Is that Rodgers is they don't have to trade for him. Right? The thing is, with Stafford, they would have to give up something. They're gonna, it's just not. They're not giving up the 3rd pick overall, but they're gonna have to give up something for Stafford. It takes 2 to tango, right? The Giants, the Giants were interested. I'm sure they could free up $50 million or whatever, $50 million a season for Stafford. But they're going to have to part with something, right? They're not going to do that with Rodgers, right? But the thing is, I think, seems like to me like it's tough. You got to keep both these guys upright, without question, right? They keep getting pummeled. It doesn't matter. Jesus Christ could be back there. It ain't going to matter, right? But I think kind of maybe with Stafford might have a little longer shelf life. I don't know. You can see signing Rodgers to a 3-year deal. He's 41. I don't know about that. I can see signing Stafford maybe a 3-year deal, getting out after 2. Just seems like if you bring in Stafford in, you can have him maybe for give you a few years, right? Aaron Rodgers is kind of like 1 year at a time kind of thing, So, and of course, ain't gonna come cheap either, right? He's gonna want his money. So they're gonna want his money. All right. Let's see. Latest Aaron Rodgers rumor leaves the Giants with one obvious option. This is funny. This is from GMNHQ. It's from Matt Sidney, I guess it is. Joe Shane should ghost Aaron Rodgers. Wasn't long ago when the Giants were making the playoffs and leading the organization to the Super Bowl. The roster had talent, the coaching staff was respected, and the front office made reasonable decisions. The organizational construction led to 2 Super Bowls and some of the best days as a Giant fans. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Much like those Giants, soon-to-be former New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers can relate pretty well to the good old days. Back in the 2010-2011 season, Rodgers led the Green Bay Packers to a Super Bowl title, and since then he's perennially been considered one of the few quarterbacks able to lead his team back to the highly coveted title game until he wasn't. Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, what is it? I think the 49ers, I have his number, gets knocked out all the time. He is, you know, he's got to the championship game, but he just never made it. Never made it. Right? I mean, after that 2010, right? In 2011, they were 15-1. That wasn't even a championship game. The Giants went into the Lambeau Field and beat them up, beat the Packers up. Giants and Rodgers might have more in common than they'd like to admit. From the late 2000s to the mid-2000s, both were viewed as legitimate Super Bowl caliber threats and garnered the respect of the NFL. It's funny how drastically things can change. Fast forward a decade or so, and both are seemingly irrelevant and stuck reliving the past, holding on for hope that better days lie ahead. While for one of them, better days are ahead, and for the other, it's looking like the end of the road. Or is it? The Giants are better off leaving Aaron Rodgers on the road. Yep. In a surprising NFL Combine twist that was reported by Pro Football Talk, there is a persistent rumor swirling around that Rodgers' camp has reached out to the Giants brass to gauge interest in signing him in free agency. He said he is looking for mutual interest and a good team in his next team. Yeah. A lot to unpack there, so let's try. Rodgers is no longer an MVP-worthy player he used to be. He hasn't been for some time. If his time with the Jets was any indication of what he brings to the G-men, it's going to be a hard pass. Rodgers looked old, and he didn't move as well as he used to. He couldn't elevate a team many deemed playoff ready. He had led the Jets to 5 wins in his second season after tearing his ACL in his first season. He'll be 41 years old, and Father Time is undefeated. Aaron Rodgers already looks defeated. Sure, the counting stats didn't look all that terrible, which is true, especially to Giant fans. But empty stats that don't bring in wins are just as useless as the paper they're counted on. He ended the season with 3,897 yards passing. Not bad. 28 touchdowns. Not bad. And only 11 interceptions. Once again, not bad. Those are better numbers than any Giant quarterback has seen in a minute. But is this the best New York can do? It feels like a stretch. General Manager Joe Shane has already gone on record saying he will do anything and everything to bring in a quarterback, either through the draft, trade, free agency, or any two of the three. But this the move he should make. With the Giants of mutual interest, and are they really a good team? I mean, honestly, you look at the weapons that Rodgers had last season. I mean, even brought Devontae Adams in there. I mean, right? I mean, he had some weapons to throw the ball to, right? Still couldn't get him. Right? I mean, some of it was also a little bit on. I can't remember every game they played all, but the defense was at times was a little disappointing. I mean, the defense was supposed to be really good, right? So I think some of it was kind of like maybe at the times that Rodgers and the offense scored some points, the defense kind of let them down. Or there was times that the defense kind of kept the other team down in check, the offense sputtered out. And it was always, it seemed like it was always one or the other, right? But I mean, the Jets were supposed to go to the playoffs last year, right? 5 wins. That was not. It's not a power-packed division. You got the Bills, right? I mean, the Dolphins with 2 of the problems they were having there. I mean, they were not super duper spectacular. You got the Patriots, right? And they had 5 wins. So let's see. While Rodgers would most likely come in on a cheap short-term contract, this feels like a move Big Blue should avoid like the plague. Sure, Rodgers is better than Daniels, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito, but is that the bar? He was supposed to mentor Zach Wilson, but if Wilson's disastrous development with the Jets is any indication, it's hard to believe he would be the guiding hand a young Giant quarterback would need. Rodgers reaching out only proves one thing. This team is still a quarterback away from relevance. That quarterback isn't Aaron Rodgers. That's all I'm saying. I mean, if there was, if there was that much interest in him, are they really reaching out to the 3-win New York Giants? I mean, they need a quarterback, obviously, but I absolutely not. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I think I'd have to agree. I think that'd be a hard pass for me anyway. Rodgers, is 41. I mean, they do say that although your second year coming back from an ACL, you move better, right? You're back to almost normal, and sometimes they say you might even be better than normal. Right? Usually, you tear the ACL, you recuperate, you're able to come back, but that first season you're still not up to speed. Right? Usually, they say a lot of times that second season. But is that the chance the Giants want to take with a 41-year-old quarterback? And I mean, we got to keep the guy upright, right? And also, he's one of the guys. He talks a lot. He goes on podcasts a lot. He doesn't always say the right things and stuff like that and all and everything. I think he just might be more of a distraction than anything else.